And welcome back to part 9 of What If Goku Was as Smart as Bulma. Honestly, the final part of the What If series. We're actually probably going to be ending this What If today. And if not, we'll definitely end it in the next one. But we left off basically with the end of the Battle of Gods arc, where Goku ultimately did gain the Super Saiyan God form, went toe-to-toe with Beerus, but ultimately everything ended up fine. They had their fight. Beerus was happy and satisfied, and ultimately Goku would end up going to train with Whis. Now, because Goku is as intelligent as his genius wife, he does ultimately go and tell her what most likely he's going to do. He's going to be gone for a little while, and ask Gohan and his sister just to hold down the fort. And they make sure to do that. And while he's gone, Raditz ultimately ends up going with him, and they end up training to get God Ki, Super Saiyan God, and Super Saiyan Blue, among other things. Now, the question that needs to be risen is there a Resurrection F? Or Resurrection K, in this case, King Cold. Well, I think his name is spelled with a C, actually. So Resurrection C. And that would depend on if you think that Vegeta is not paying attention to what's going on in his own particular empire. Vegeta is still out there running the empire. He has most likely gained Super Saiyan, maybe even Super Saiyan 2 over these years. At minimum, a perfected Super Saiyan or the Ultra Super Saiyan form. Grade 3, I believe it was. So at minimum, he has either grade 3 or perfected Super Saiyan, probably a Super Saiyan 2 at this point, but he's still well behind anyone else on the planet, save for probably the humans. But he just doesn't bother with the planet Earth. They don't bother with him. He hasn't bothered with them. And he's not looking to test that at the moment. So Vegeta's fine doing his own thing, but when members of his own organization, his own Vegeta Force, if you will, go out of their way, and because they don't like his rule, to go and try to go to Earth and bring back Lord Frieza. In theory, yes, but the problem with that is that they would have to get the Dragon Balls, aka the Dragon Radar, from Capsule Corp, and I have a feeling it's not as easy when you have Bulma and Gohan and Bra there. Even if they tried to make the attempt, I think that the attempt would be thwarted. So there actually is no Resurrection F here. What you do get, though, is eventually Champa wakes up, goes to see his brother, sees the Saiyans, wants their food, and they arrange the Universe 6 tournament. Now, the Universe 6 team would consist of Goku, Raditz, Gohan, and Kami at Beerus' behest, because otherwise, you'll do it because you're one of the strongest individuals on the damn planet, and if you don't, swear to God, I will make it. I'll end you, Namekian. All right. And then he brings up Monaka. So Goku goes first, takes out Potama like originally. Great. Then the second match comes and gets taken out by Frost. I think really it kind of play out how you would expect. Kami goes next, loses the Frost, but it's discovered he cheated. Frost gets disqualified. End of story. Raditz doesn't have that same pride like Vegeta does, so he's not going to feel like, I get to do this. And Goku gets reinstated onto the team. I do see Kami being able to take out Magirta and Kaba. Because I don't see any reason Kaba would be going Super Saiyan in this form. There's no reason for Kami to teach him. Unfortunately, Kami would be dropped by Hit. So would Gohan. Raditz, after reviewing 2 different fights, would most likely be able to kind of do what Goku did, start predicting Raditz's moves. Hit's moves. But he still, I don't think, would be the one to beat Hit. Goku obviously goes Super Saiyan Blue. They clash again. Hit keeps improving, though. And ultimately, when you actually break it down, Goku forfeited that match. First off, he might have won that match otherwise, but even if Goku loses this match naturally, it doesn't change the outcome. And now that being said, you can make the argument, well, Goku forfeited, so what else is there? Well, arguably you could say that Goku had similar to Kaioken, Goku is able to maybe merge his Akari into the Super Saiyan Blue, at least temporarily right now, with some training. And so you basically get the same equivalent of the Kaioken times 10. And You basically still get him forfeiting the match. And then Universe 7 wins because Hit throws the match then, and that's all she wrote. So this would bring us to the Goku Black arc. And this arc would actually have, believe it or not, an abrupt end. So you'd first get Bra coming back from the past, attacking her dad because, well, no, Goku, her dad's still alive at this point, so she sees her dad's like, Dad, it was terrible. It was you who said what? And then obviously Goku Black shows up and causes havoc. Goku and him spar. They agree to go to the future the first time. It would most likely end the same way, but Goku is smart enough, and meets the Zamasu of that present time, is smart enough to figure, it kind of deduce how things are going on here, as this Goku Black is acting very much like this Zamasu they're meeting, and he can put two and two together after learning about the Super Dragon Balls. And so they have to hightail it out of there after Hit Rads gets skewered. Gohan is not really able to help much in that sense either, and Goku has to backtrack. So they have to think about what to do. Raj continues to train up a little bit, so does Gohan, but they're still figuring out a strategy. Ultimately, though, Goku remembers the Mafuba and how the evil containment wave worked. And so he goes to Roshi. Roshi obviously teaches him technique. And then he also instructs Gohan and Raditz to learn technique as well. And then they are smart enough to actually know to get some sealing tags. Not just one, but multiple. And get ready because they left before Roshi could give them the damn sealing tag. And so when they get there in that final time, Zamasu is split from the herd. They just like with Trunks, Bra also learns it, I'm sure. And so they seal Zamasu. They just seal that Zamasu. And they actually put the tag on. And Goku Black's learning where the hell did he go. And while they make the attempt to seal Goku Black and he doesn't initially get caught, they're unable to get any container to really seal him in or get the seal tag on in time. But what they are able to do is actually have the time ring that he is wearing break through the process between the Mafuba and the unique energy coming off of that, plus the sheer force of a giant beam struggle between them and Goku Black. Ultimately, I think it would end with the death of Goku Black. Goku Black, one big beam struggle between Goku, Kaioken, Ikari. Rad's even also learns Kaioken, Ikari, Super Saiyan Blue Ikari. Super Saiyan Blue Ikari's double time, and they basically overwhelm Goku Black and just finally obliterate him from the timeline and everyone else's problems, which then leads us into the Tournament of Power. So, honestly, nothing really doesn't matter who you send into those exhibition matches. It would still end the same. The Tournament of Power is still happening. Goku still met Zeno. They're friends. But Goku loves the fight. So even though he's as smart as Bulma, we should note this. He didn't expect the universes to be on the line if he suggested a tournament. He did not think that would happen. So he feels very bad about what's transpired. So they all are discussing what exactly to do about this. And so they start to assemble their team. Obviously, it's Goku, Raditz, Gohan, who most likely is also, just like his father, has an Ikari Super Saiyan 2 form he can access. More on that later in the episode. But yeah, Raditz, Goku, Gohan, Kami, because Kami is also he's probably the third strongest on the planet at the time, with his own God Ki. Krillin, because I imagine Krillin, just like anyone else, probably doesn't stop training. Even though he probably gets a job as like a police officer like he does. He still trains, so he keeps his Kaioken, at least he can do a 20. So, and probably maintain it without much difficulty. And probably push it beyond that limit, maybe even to a 30. Now, 30 will probably wreck his body, but it's this big limitation. Tien, who kept training. Yamcha, who hasn't kept training, but is still vastly more powerful than most other people on the planet. Roshi, and then you have 2 extra spots. Now, I think one of these spots is going to go to Bra, believe it or not. Bra is a little older than Goten in this scenario, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she would be older than Goten. Not by a large margin. She'd be about the same age Trunks is at this time, which is about, let's see here, 7 years, and then it's a few more years into Dragon. So weirdly enough, he's around Gohan's age back in the original series, around 10 or 11. or she is anyway. So, but she's also got Super Saiyan 2 thanks to training with her dads and all that, but no Akari. And then finally, one other thing that Bulma had been working on for some time. Now you might be saying, you're just trying to fill out the roster. And you're right, but this is still something Bulma and Goku probably been working on, having found maybe some of the blueprints in Jiro's lab. Bulma ultimately has made her own version of Android 16, based on the data Jiro had, but she's able to program him with other protocols, such as protect, serve, value life, all that. In terms of the level of power she's able to input in him, she isn't Dr. Hito, so she isn't like able to put like god level power into an android. But she is able to get him probably beyond that initial power level, like of imperfect cell, more closer to maybe like a semi-perfect cell. So still powerful nonetheless, but regardless, not the end all be all that the androids ultimately are. Granted, because she has the blueprints for Jiro, she does know how to do like the infinite energy engine, so there is that, but still. So the tournament starts off, and the universes still get paired off and squared off. Universe 9 would still target Universe 7, and they would still get knocked out without too much difficulty. I think Universe 10 would still follow. Throughout these fights, Goku would be being a bit more, even though he's loving the fighting, he would still be more strategic in this case. He would actually, if the fighter isn't overall strong, which Goku in theory would be able to tell. Granted, he can't sense the energy, but he's still got a good nose for it. He would just eliminate him for the sake of the universe. But if it is a strong fighter like Jiren or Kale or something like that, or Toppo, then he definitely would still want to fight him, because it's still Goku even with Bulma's intelligence. And beyond that, Goku does have an ace in the whole game plan. Because he's seen everything going on in his life. And he knows where everyone's potential currently lies and where it could go, and what it might take to unlock that potential. Now, beyond that, though, I actually see Krillin not going out first, because he did get knocked out after kind of gloating about knocking that one guy out, and after saving 18 as well. Here he doesn't have to save his wife because he doesn't have a wife, and so he lasts a bit longer. I see Yamcha probably being the first one to be knocked out in this version. Followed probably by Tien. I think Krillin would actually be like or Roshi actually would probably be the next one to go out. Same thing happens with him. Still one of the best episodes of that whole tournament, the Roshi episode. Krillin's probably the sixth fighter out if I were to be my betting man. And maybe 16 would do like some sort of sacrifice play. But that wouldn't come until later. They're still systematically taking out fighters. I could even see maybe like Universe 4 getting knocked out earlier than what it was initially going to be in the series. So no Annie Raza being created in this version. Ultimately, though, Jiren is tasked with taking on Goku and taking out Goku. And this is where Goku and him square off. And Goku goes Super Saiyan, goes Akari, nope. Goes Super Saiyan, nope. Goes Super Saiyan 2, nope. Goes Super Saiyan 3, nope. And then goes Super Saiyan Akari, nope. Goes Super Saiyan 2 Akari, nope. Can't do Super Saiyan. Goes God, and then finally goes Blue, and they finally square off. Goku obviously isn't doing much against him at this point. But now you might say, well, you said he had a Super Saiyan 4. I did say that. But I think Goku at that point would have realized, because remember, he just skipped Super Saiyan 2, went straight to Super Saiyan God, not even doing 3. So I think at that point he'd quickly realize, yeah, Super Saiyan 4 isn't going to handle it. So he would ultimately, he would be in God. Same thing happens there. Blue, same thing happens there. And they're going, and then he finally goes Super Saiyan Blue Akari, and he at least puts up a bit more of a fight with Jiren. Ultimately, though, it's basically the same issue. With the same issue here is that Jiren's just too strong. He doesn't even have the equivalent of a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. He's only got the Ikari, which is a times 10. So Goku just basically gives it a full power Kamehameha to throw at Jiren. Super Saiyan Blue Ikari. And the reason he can't do a Spirit Bomb is because he can't do a Spirit Bomb. He doesn't know it in this version. Now, granted, he might have asked Krillin to teach it to him at one point. I can, in theory, see that. But here, I would imagine no. I think it's important to have both Chaozu and Krillin have something unique to them. Not that Krillin ever actually used it in this version, but he at least knows it. Same with Chaozu. And so, he has his Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue activated. It's like, Kakarot, you better not die on me, Dad! And I guess you get the music playing. Boo, doo, doo, doo. Boo, boo, doo, doo, doo. And then, and then the blast just comes. And Jiren just, you get that darkness. He just, and then just finally blasts it back. And Goku, struggling, and it's like, your universe, my universe must live, son Goku. Yours must go. This is the way it must be. But you're not an unworthy opponent. Farewell. And Goku just look, no, I can't. And the blast is just coming in, and Goku's struggling, trying as hard as he can. It's kind of like this, like the energy, like Jiren is just pushing you guys slowly, like it's getting there. It's like Goku's like, I can't let them down. I won't. And then finally just tapping into that primal source, being in the Ikari Super Saiyan Blue form, triggers something, and the energy output just suddenly goes, as Jiren was pushing it back, so it just goes, and Jiren just actually has to get out of the way, and he's just got this look on his face like, what the hell? And standing up there, everyone can sense this power just unlocked in Goku, and standing there up in the air is now the newly achieved Super Saiyan God Primal, or the Super Saiyan 4 added with God Ki, which I do believe, I think, I've always agreed, would look very similar to Gogeta did. Because he's got black hair, which would be the red hair. He's just basically like this magenta or colored ape god. And he's just standing there, like, and I mean, he's still tired out, but now his power is like amplified. Doing the math real quick in my head here. Super Saiyan 4, again, the mathematics I use is about 4,000 times boost. 50, if I'm not mistaken, it's about an 80 times boost from Super Saiyan, standard Super Saiyan, which would be Super Saiyan Blue in this case, because that's Super Saiyan added on to Super Saiyan God. So it's about 80 times Super Saiyan God in this case, or Super Saiyan Blue, which means it'd be about 4 times that of the Kaioken times 20 Goku, who was at least able to put up a fight against Jiren, and Jiren actually had to be on guard. Here you have someone who's 4 times that strength. And so he comes in and just, boom, he actually gets the good shot in on Jiren, who was not expecting this. Just, kind of like what happens when he landed that strike against him right in during their final fight, where he goes Ultra Instinct again. Just, and then you get the time to end this, and then so now they're duking out, ripping across the battlefield. More fighters just getting caught up in and getting knocked out of the ring. And meanwhile, other fights have to keep taking place as, Bra's trying to knock out a couple fighters. Ultimately, she tries to go after Caulifla and unfortunately fails. And it's like getting lost, pipsqueak. It's like, can't, Bra! And Gohan sees it. No, Bra, you're in. Now Gohan goes in the fray. He's pissed off and raged. Just comes in. And ultimately starts just ripping him apart, really. Sorry, I should back up. I think it was Universe 4 was the technological one, not the Universe 3. Universe 4 was like this crafty, sneaky one. Meanwhile, it's basically the energy, and Jiren finally has to power up his energy, just, as we saw, could literally just blast people off of the ring. Again, blasting fighters off the ring. Another universe just goes knocked out from him powering up, and they're just clashing, and it's ripping the ring apart. And eventually, though, Goku is tiring out. It's a new form for him, and Jiren is still stronger than this form, sadly. But Jiren's like, your strength is commendable, son of Goku, but you cannot win! And just blasts him back. It's like, Dad! And then Goku just looks at him, and he looks at Jiren, and Jiren just comes in, and Goku just smiles, and just smiles. It's like, I'm leaving this to you, son. And then Jiren just, and he just goes flying. Goku gets eliminated, and there's like, and Beer's like, it's like, Dad, bro. And your world must say, it does not matter. And you forgive me, you are Son Gohan, son of Son Goku. I will give you an honorable end, like I did your father. And Gohan's trying and failing, and he just gets knocked to the ground. And Jiren's about to end him. It's like go, and he remembers back in his training like, about how Kari was like, Kari, it's unlocked with a feeling, and you remember the flux waves and how it felt. And it's like, but there's more to you than that, son. You're the son. You're not just my son. You're your mother's son as well. You have the potential of both of us. You have the potential to surpass me. It's all about what's in your heart, son, and what it takes to unlock it. Just thinks about everything. He thinks about his mother, his father, his sister, his brother, because Goten's alive here now. His brother, his wife, because he's at this point married to Videl, his daughter Pan. He's thinking of everyone, his friends, just and they're all gonna say. And then all of a sudden the energy just pours off of Gohan, and Jiren just gets blasted back into just some of the rubble. And then finally just snaps and standing there for everyone to see, radiating power that even the gods are standing at attention for. Like this power, not even well. Now they said attention for the Ultra Instinct because that's something only a god should do. But here they sense this power. It's like, what the hell? It's stronger than Jiren, and standing there is beast form Gohan. Now I argue one minor thing about the beast form Gohan form, and it's not anything serious. It's just about how it's accessed. While we have no evidence, confirmed evidence to suggest this, I've always assumed it's in two parts. A, because Gohan's a hybrid, and therefore he has a different biology, and therefore possibly different potential, greater potential than Goku does, theoretically. But B, I also always assumed it's because he also had the ultimate form. Because he was in the ultimate form when he transformed. So I always thought this was kind of like, what if you were to somehow go Super Saiyan in the ultimate form? Like, basically, the ultimate form actually is greater than the Super Saiyan forms. But what if that ultimate form actually like had a transformation to it? That's how I've always kind of treated that was the reason Gohan could do it, because he had the potential as a hybrid, and because he had that potential unlocked with the ultimate transformation. But either way, we'll still do it here just because a lot of people theorize it just because he's a hybrid. And so he's standing there saying, I'm sorry, Jiren, but I can't let you win. And then he starts beating into Jiren hard, and Jiren, the shirt comes off, and they clash. And even though he's stronger, Jiren's probably lived longer and just more experienced fighter. They're clashing, and they're just boom, they're duking it out hardcore all the way. And meanwhile, Kami is just systematically taking out a couple of strikers. He actually is the one to take out Kale and Caulifla, so Universe 6 eventually gets eliminated. Although, and even Rans actually takes out Hit, getting revenge. So, like, ultimately, it just comes down to Universe 9 and 11, and finally Gohan boom, blasts them all away. And Jiren's like, and Jiren, is satisfied with the fight. It was a good fight. And ultimately, it ends with Universe 7 being the winners. And then ultimately wishing the other universes back. At the end of it all, Goku's saying, well, so I always knew you could do it. So, I never really intended to surpass you. Oh, no, that's cool, son. No, this is awesome. Oh, this form is awesome. I can't wait to fight against you, son. And then I get his training, get stronger, and then you get his training. And Goku just starts going off. Despite being smarter than his canon counterpart by a long margin, he's still childish and loves a good fight. And everyone's just like, oh, God. And so the story of what if Goku was as smart as Bulma ends with them going back. Bulma's happy. He's like, yeah, my husband, my boy, my daughter. There is no Broly arc because Vegeta doesn't have any reason to go to Vampa, so they kind of just live on that planet alone. Ultimately, though, yeah, that is the end of this particular What If. We'll be starting the next one next Saturday, or this coming Saturday. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time.